Hey everyone, I'm Darkside, and today on the Rpguilds Podcast, I have Sam, the admin, and Owner, the
Oh,
admin.
I think that's
Hello.
we done I think we done goofed.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Anyways,
This is a blooper reel or something.
so all right, no, I'm keeping this. Anyways, so Sam, well, let's just kick it off straight into the questions. How is the server? You're never on the server, really. Or at least from my point of view, I'm usually on. I never see you. How is the server doing in your perspective?
Well, you don't see me because you're an American and I'm British. That's the reason behind that. But second, the server, it's. I always look, as I'm sure people have heard me saying before, I never see the server as perfect. Because things can always be improved, and I think that's one reason why we keep on improving. We're not. There's lag spikes going on. There's a couple of technical glitches that we really do need to solve, but we're just finding it hard. I mean, we're going in the right direction, but we are taking our sweet time a bit. But it's not in a state where it's the best server, but it's not in the state where it's the worst. Working towards becoming the best server, but we're not quite there yet.
Oh, Owner, your perspective?
We have a lot of improving to go, but we're getting there. I think we're now on an upward spiral. We were a bit on a downward spiral with the whole 2.0 coming out because of life problems that happened with admins, but we're hiring new staff, obviously, and we're going on and moving past the recent events, so I think we're doing on a great track.
Well, yeah, another problem was, I'm pretty sure most people know about it now, that a group of role players that happened to be openly advertising were banned, and they were pretty big role players within the server. Do you think that'll have a heavy impact on the server in the long run?
I think the impact has already been delivered. The people that wanted to leave because of this have gone now. I think it's right to say that we're moving on. That we're moving on from that. I mean, that they're not going to enjoy themselves as much over there in the long run than they are. So, realistically, I imagine we'll get a lot of players coming back. And in terms of player losses, I'm not really worried. We have an awful lot of money saved up for advertising. Once we as the team and the community feel we're at a state where the server's looking great, and we think that new players, like pretty much every player that would ever come on the server, would want to stay if they're here for roleplay. Once we're at that kind of stage, we'll push out advertising and the players will come in. By the amount that we've got saved up, we're expecting as soon as we start advertising, we're going to need to up our player stops to above 100. So we try. I don't want to kind of make us a massive server, but I want to really get some more role players in, because the more role players going on, and the more events that people can get involved in that the players create. So hopefully, once we're at that good stage. Once we're at a stage where I can say this server is the best server I've ever seen in my life, that's when we'll start advertising. We've kind of got a date for when we hope that's going to happen, but it is just an approximate date. We're hoping around Independence Day. It's not Independence Day. Is it
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. Around Thanksgiving, we're hoping for that to be the date of the completion. But we'll always be improving constantly.
That's good to hear. And about this whole new stuff coming out, do you think the new world came out a little too early, or do you think you release it on time? Because the Elvens and it all wasn't out yet, and still King's Reach is still being worked on, so...
Well, we released it because we would still be at the same stage now, and people could either be wasting their time getting fed up of the old world, building stuff that they're not really wanting to build because they want to move over to the other world. So we more released it early so players can get in there, they can start building, they can work on the new world. We know that the whole interface isn't there yet. I mean, King's Reach isn't there, the trade isn't there, the road systems aren't there, the jobs aren't there. We know that this is the problem, and we're pushing this to be released, and we're getting there. But there are quite a lot of problems that we're coming to as we're trying to implement things, especially with the new townie changeover, because a lot of our plans were with factions. So using townie now, some problems came out of that.
All right. Owner, you roleplay a lot. Do you think the new world came out a little too early, or do you agree with Sam?
I believe it needed to come out just for the community's sanity's sake, because that's when we had the most drama, actually, staff-wise, was during the construction of the New World. So Kingsreach wasn't going to be prepared on time. So we might as well get it so that people are situated before we start doing like all the major events. Get them have a little bit of time to have their cities built while we're building our city. It's only fair.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. And I heard you bring up Townie, Sam. What are your plans with Townie, and do you think it'll lay a part on the role play?
Townie, I'm still at odds end with it, and I'm still not sure whether I prefer factions or Townie yet. But I know the community is very much rigging for Townie, so I'm backing them and with them in that. In terms of Townie, hopefully we're going to be able to introduce taxes so that people can tax their people to bring some more money, and hopefully not too much and not too heavily. Otherwise, their town will become quite empty because people aren't going to be able to afford. Sorry, my mic cut out. So it's all going to be kind of down to the owners really to decide on terms of taxes. We also have new ranks coming out, which Fargaze has made a post about. Also, literally, people have to do if they want to contribute, they can list up ranks and what kind of permissions that person would have. I believe there's already ranks like guard. Another quite a few ranks like that actually coming to us that we're trying to implement as soon as possible, and you'll be able to give members. So, for example, like there was in factions, the officers and the recruits and the newcomer, all those free ranks will be interpreted into Townie. And in terms of, I believe it's going to work well with nations and struggle for kings. Townie's really going to help, really going to help the progress of that.
Do you think will nations have any power over independent towns or lands?
Yeah, nations. We're getting to the motion that nations will have the ability to actually become a kingdom. One of the great kingdoms. You can kind of aim to achieve that your town will one day become a kingdom, kind of like Kingsreach, the capital like Kingsreach is, and you'll one day be able to develop a force and an army, and with the staff kind of supporting you with that, maybe providing some extra finances so you can pay your workers and whatnot. We're really looking for that kind of thing.
Do you have a set time when the Elven and Dwarven nations would be up and running?
The Elven and Dwarven nations. The Elven nation, I'm not too sure on. I'm not really 100% on what's happening with that. It's probably going to be quite a while before that's released. We need to get Kingsreach done first, obviously. Then we'll probably look over to that once Kingsreach is released. In terms of the Dwarven one, I believe we're kind of looking for, probably going towards looking for a player to set up a Dwarven town and then advance. And then with our aid, we can kind of help and support them to becoming a kingdom. With like the bloodlines and the possibilities of many large events around it. So yeah.
All right. Well, obviously, we know the races, Dracona, all of them. Will more races be implemented now that Heroes is gone and whatnot?
It actually could work more the opposite, unfortunately. I don't know. I'm not 100% where we're going with the races. I think we could be working on just either developing or using a more independent plugin, or maybe hopefully Heroes will fix itself and be able to bring it back. But the way things are looking, races won't quite be as good as they were with Heroes. But however, we are looking to develop more upon people's specialities. So, for example, if you're looking into becoming through a certain trade, maybe like a blacksmith or an enchanter or a mage or something like that, we're looking to more develop those. It will also hopefully help aid the economy with a bit more specialized item crafting and whatnot. But we're not 100% on that yet.
And you do know the problem with the health bars now. People who had their races at a previous time, like let's say an orc with 50 health, now that Heroes is gone, they still have that 50 health, though, compared to people who are just joining the server with 20.
Yeah, that problem's easily fixed. We've kind of just left it there at the moment because it is a bit annoying, but we will be fixing that pretty soon, hopefully. It's not a hard problem to fix, really.
All right. Well, now that I spoke of Heroes, since it's gone, what would you be replacing it with, if anything at all?
Same as before, really. We're looking more into developing classes, so kind of like how you had your mage and your your warrior and your rogue from before. We're kind of hope developing more in terms of the classes systems, and we could be looking for. We did find one which we've been working on a little bit, but I'm not sure what the progress is like that at the moment. Fargate has been working pretty hard on that. That's all I know. But hopefully we will have some, if not heroes returned, a decent replacement within a couple of weeks.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, that's really variable on how quickly Fargate can learn how to program the new plugins.
Yeah.
That's what it's based on, really.
Well, Owner, since you've just finally talked, might as well ask you a question. This week's lore competition is about King's Reach. What are you wanting particularly this week?
Hopefully, families, stories about people, but I didn't really specify because I was kind of rushed into doing it. I haven't really kept up with it that well because I've been kind of put in charge of getting all the builders in working on King's Reach. So it was kind of hastily put together, but I would love it if people had like histories on families that live in King's Reach. That would be very interesting to me. Like make it seem like the city's actually full of people through little journals and stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. And competitions are up. So a server trailer, Sam, you brought this, you made this. What are you expecting out of this other than just the trailer?
Other than just a trailer. Well, trailers obviously are important, but I mean, it also helps bring the community together a bit on top of that. I mean, people are working I know a couple of groups that have come together, they're working together to make trailers. People are getting involved in videos. I've heard a couple movie and that kind of things going on. It seems more a lot of fun and a bit of enjoyment as well for the community. It's not just about getting a new trailer out there. It is about giving the community a bit something to work towards, something to do, kind of like team building basically with the community, and it's really working out as I hoped.
And kind of off topic, but at one point there was an illegal kill temp rule going on, and this is for both of you. Sam first, I guess. Do you support the idea of not killing, or do you encourage kills on and off roleplay?
Well, it's a very debatable question. I mean, we're not really, we're more we're aiming as a genre to be more of a roleplay server than a PvP server, and that is the way that we're bending as time progresses. I mean, we started off as pretty much a PvP server. There was a lot of more of us were PvP role players than just basic role players. But as time's going on, we see a lot more kind of what's the word? How do you call it? Emoting action. So, for example, slash me, punch, attempts to punch person, blah 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 blah. That kind of thing is. I would rather see that kind of fighting than slashing someone with a sword. But at the end of the day, it can be a bit more thrilling sometimes to actually go out and use your sword and start attacking enemies and that kind of thing. That kind of method will always defeat the aspect of just role playing out an action. But for some, I guess it very much depends. I would be. I don't mind. I do quite enjoy people being able to PvP as they do a bit freely. That's kind of also what Townie does. It encourages a bit more roleplay PvP than factions, which purely encourages PvP. It's another advantage to Townie, I guess, if you're from a roleplayer's perspective, anyway.
Actually, with the whole / emoting fights, one big thing was on a popular MMO, World of Warcraft, they actually had, because you're supposed to roll, and the higher number obviously wins, and based off how high of a, I guess, difference you had, that's how more strength you would put into it. So it had a /roll feature that would be, I would roll 20, you would roll 30, you would beat me, so you would choose how you swing, but I would choose how I take it. It's an interesting idea, but obviously Minecraft doesn't have it. Have you ever thought of implementing something like that?
Yes, this has been on the tables for a long time. We've been wanting to implement it. We've been wanting to implement it for forever, really. Fargate is hoping on getting that actually designed himself at some point. If not, we are looking for some plugins which do basically the simple dice rolling feature or something like that. Because I mean, there's more than just outcomes you can get from it. You can make little mini games with dices. And since we're a PG-13 server now, light gambling is more than acceptable. So it can go. I think you can have mini games with gambles going on in taverns and inns. And hopefully, yeah, we will be getting a nice dice feature, or at least a rolling system, pretty soon.
All right, cool. Owner, your input on all this?
On PvP, to be honest, I abhor Minecraft's version of PvP. It's based on who solely has the better equipment. The skill required for it, yes, is there, but it's so minuscule because one person with god armor and god apples is obviously going to be way superior than anybody else out there if you have enough of this equipment. So I'm all for RP fights over PvP fights. So, but I will allow people to murder other people apparently in PvP because they like doing that. The thrill of the hunt is fun. It made sieges actually work instead of having to have like 15 people trying to fight each other. That would be almost impossible via the methods we have at our disposal. Because you just couldn't type fast enough to block and stuff for 15 or so people.
All right, well, Sam, I heard you talk about gambling and whatnot. Have you ever thought of actually adding minigames to the server?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to actually have a second server, which would basically just be for people of Rpguilds to go and involve. Like the game would change maybe weekly. Maybe one week it would be Hunger Games, the next week it might be Spleef, and things like that. It's just been a matter of time, really. The past couple of months have been very busy for me, just moving into university and so forth. Things are settling down for me now, but it's really just been a time constraint. Once I imagine we settle down with things like King's Reach, hopefully we will be able to extend to that, because I mean people like minigames, so there's no denying that. Even I like minigames. It'd be really nice if they had somewhere to go where they could all do it with the community together.
All right. Well, we've actually gotten through every question. That's basically it. Owner, do you have anything you want to bring up?
Not at this current time that I can think of.
Sam, what about you?
Well, not really. No, actually, I think you've covered quite a lot of the issues that's been brought up. I mean, hopefully, if we do have another one of these, people will be able to submit a lot more questions in and so forth, and we can try and answer as many as possible. And I just hope people enjoy listening to it, really.
Yeah, it's always good to have community input. Yes?
I actually have something. We are actually looking for builders a little bit to get King's Reach built. If you think you could build the theme of King's Reach, if you could supply like an Imgur album of your building style, show that you can be good at building, we could maybe use you. Because we want this out fast. And
yeah, so I'd mail either me or Owner via Engine with those. Definitely, because it's a very good point. We are in desperate need of builders. There's still an awful lot that needs building. And hopefully we'll be able to start pushing things out a little bit. And I'm sure once King's Reach is released, when people can buy their houses, and people can actually start to work and earn money via all the different jobs that we have planned. I mean, there's already a sneak preview of some of the jobs on the forums, but a lot of them still need perfecting a little bit and redefining. You'll see those changing throughout this week, because we'll be working a lot on the job system. Hopefully the job system will be released sometime this week, including all King's Reach and the plots. That's been our main focus now, and that's hopefully what we're going to have achieved or accomplished by the end of the week.
Roads will be a bit delayed when the job system does come out for all of you that are interested in it, because as far as we can tell, we're going to be having to work with only trusted members for a little bit on Roads until we can figure out a more efficient method, so there's only going to be a limited supply of players that will be able to actually pay to build roads.
Alrighty, and that's really it. I would just like to say really quick for RP Guild members, they're going to get a first chance of this. If the video hits 50 views, and if you're subscribed to the channel, you have a chance of entering to win a couple prizes that are going to be coming out on Thanksgiving. So that's all I wanted to let out. And thanks everybody for listening. I'm Darkside, and thank you Sam and Owner for being here.
No problem.
No problem.